First things first, let's look at this. This is supposed to be a Instagram story on how to vote. Now, this is utter nonsense. If you think this looks good, you are sadly mistaken. Let's find out why it doesn't look good. All right, so first off, this design ignores the margins and guides that I told you about. For one, you know, that is an issue. So the guides and margins, you shouldn't have text up against the edge of your artboard. Two, the text with this background is hard to read. All right, and then on top of that, these images aren't really helping. They're just, I would assume if I saw this and somebody turned this in, I would assume that they just put the images there just to have them there. So don't do that. Same with this. The background is unnecessary. It's not cool. Same thing with the guides. You can't read the text clearly, especially here. Then now we get into a consistency problem where the fonts here are different than the fonts here, but this is all supposed to be one project. Then right here, I literally cannot read this. And why is this a paragraph in the first place? As a matter of fact, every form of text that I've seen so far, even this, is too much text or more text than it has to be. So and then here's more inconsistency. You have this illustration or this vector image. This is also a vector, but these are not. These background images are photographs. So there's a lot of inconsistency going on. There's a lot of, I guess, readability issues. There's a lot of errors going on. But this is what I am seeing from most of, or a great percentage of my students. So the big question is, why didn't you follow the process of design? The last video that I showed you actually shows me going through the process of how I use my sketch to recreate it right here in Canva, and I will also send a copy of that when I send you this video. Now, this is an example of how I took what we have here and recreated it to make more sense. So instead of having how to vote in this election, I just put how to vote. All right, we already know it's this election. Instead of having these crazy background, even if I did want this background and I was stuck on it, and I was like, I want this background, yada, yada, yada. What I could do is, let's say I got a, let's get out of that. And we're waiting for Canva to catch up. Well, while it's catching up, I'm gonna first change the transparency, and even something as simple as this already improves your design by a whole lot. Now what I did here is I added a actual background image or background color. And I could grab this and actually, the way you would want to do this, let's grab this. I'm gonna grab this, press Command X. I press Command X to cut it so I can use this as my background. And let's just go to background layer, and I'm gonna pick a color, and then I'm just gonna press Command V Okay, it took control of the background. Undo. Let's just go to my recent photos. I should have it here somewhere. Alright, so since it's not here, I'm just going to use a different image for now just to, or was that it? I don't even know. Alright, so let's say that was my image. This is my image. I changed opacity. Voila. Alright, so now we already have something more compelling, more attractive, and that's just a simple fix. That's one thing we can do. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing a lack of is, like, let's say with this one, there's no contrast going on with the text. Over here, there's a lot of contrast going on with the text. How to vote. What's important? Vote. And that is the one that not only they're showing contrast between the font, because this is a very tall font, while this one is a short font. This one is much larger in size as well, while this one is smaller. This is Bebas or Babas. I don't know how to pronounce that. Babas New, and this is Open Sans. All right, so show contrast. That's the beginning. Next, so let's show some contrast here. One, we don't need how to vote in this election, but we don't need that in this election part. But let's say if we did want to keep that, let's get rid of it for temporarily, and then let's grab my text and let's paste it back in there. So now I'm about to show you how just to do contrast with just the size. How to vote in this election. So what we had before did not consider the guides at all. All the text was on the edge. Now we have something that not only has contrast, but it will make you at least pay attention to it a little bit. It's still not like great in comparison to this one, which was more thought out. But this is a quick way to fix the mess that you potentially made. Okay, so right here, let's look at this real quick. Step one in how to vote is to register to vote and check your status. Now, that's a lot. So, and then we have even more shenanigans down here where you have all this extra information that doesn't need to be worded like this at all. So let's look at how we did it here. Step one, register. Click here to check your status. Very simple, sweet. Whatever they click, whenever they click here or tap here, I should put tap here instead of click, because with the Instagram story, they're doing it from the phone, so it'll be a tap. So tap here to check your status. So when they tap there, it'll take them to a different link where they can check their status if they registered or they did not. Because the point of the story is basically to get them to do something or get them to read something fast, quick, and easy. That's why the stories only last a few seconds, and that's also why it only lasts a few hours in availability, because it's meant to get you to take an action or be aware of something quick in a hurry. This is going to slow people down. Why? Because it's too much word, too many words, too much written out, too much. It's way too much. And what is this image doing? Nothing. Nothing for nobody. All right, so I would go and I would attempt to make this better by doing something similar that I did here. But overall, I'm not going to do that because I just wanted you all to see what a mess looks like. And if yours looks like this and it doesn't look like this, then you need to change it up. All right. I would suggest starting over. That's what I would suggest. Now, this, what you see here, notice that all images looks like they came from the same source. We don't have, this main image is not a picture of a person, while this one is an illustration slash vector. So make sure that you make wise decisions when it comes to being consistent. And remember, this is something that I may have told you in person, my in-person people, but one thing is certain when it comes to this type of design, and that is less is more. That is actually a principle of design that we haven't gone over yet, which is called economy. Economy means less is more. That's the simple way to put it. So this is more and is not looking good, while this is less and it looks great. Okay, so make sure that your work is looking more like this and not like this. That's all. So go ahead and get back to work. I wish you the best. Good luck.